There's something exciting about situations, living our lives in a state of uncertainty. And we expend so much energy in wanting certainty, wanting security, wanting safety, wanting approval, wanting comfort. And it kind of flattens out the exhilaration of living life. And I think this is why people go climb Mount Everest and take risks. And I'm not necessarily speaking to that. I was watching the Academy Awards last night, and I was just awestruck at how dull it was, how predictable, how contrived, how formulaic, how controlled it was. And there's something really exhilarating about not knowing what's going to happen next and seeing the true nature of people coming out, of the actors and actresses. When you listen to the red carpet interviews, you just can't help but, my God, everything these people are saying is phony. And they're a big reason, I don't necessarily put all the blame on the actors and actresses, because anytime they do speak out truthfully, they are censured or criticized or picked apart in the tabloids and magazines and media. And I think being a famous person, you're straitjacketed, because if you want to continue to have the fame, there's certain things you must abide by. You must conform your spirit to fit the mold that people have put you in. And, there are a few people that are able to break out of that, but very, very few. When you listen to interviews and things, everything is said in a state of, safety, security, what people want to hear, basically. And I don't know, it's just such a dull, boring way to live life. And it would be really nice to see people just be real, man, and embrace failure, embrace imperfection, embrace flaws, embrace mistakes, because that's what life's about. That yin and yang, that part of life, the part that we normally try to avoid, is what makes life so rich and what makes us grow spiritually. So the very thing we're trying to avoid is the very thing that helps us grow spiritually. It's almost like we should move in that direction. Take more risks, take more chances, mess up, stumble, fall down. All these things. It just would have been so nice to have seen that last night. Just some real moments. And from the producers who put on the show, from their perspective, that's any mistake, that is what is kind of picked apart, or the spotlight is shown upon in the news media, and how did this person do that, and la 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 la. So there's such a fear about making mistakes that we are premeditated in thought and action. And so we think, okay, if I say this, what will this person think of that, and how will that react? And it's kind of like a balloon has just deflated us, deflated the realness, the rawness of what it means to be human. And to be human and to fail and to fumble and to mess up is fun. It's exciting. It's just we've been so conditioned not to do it that we have forgotten the joy in being a human being with all the foibles and flaws and imperfections. It's like looking at a rainbow with, half the colors missing. It's not a rainbow anymore. And so in our personal lives, there's an inherent joy or an inherent reward through spontaneous action. And just being ourselves, saying what's on our mind, having people laugh at us or scoff at us, that's okay. All that is okay. Saying the wrong thing, failing at whatever thing we're challenging ourselves to. Let's just wipe the veneer, the false lacquer or varnish that we like to paint over everything. It's even gotten to the point where, restaurants now are all chain restaurants. And when I was traveling and you walk into the restaurant and everything's, nice and proper in its right place, and each of the restaurants of the chain look very similar, and the uniforms are the same, and the food's the same, and it's boring. I just don't know how else to explain it. When I was in Mexico or I was in Thailand, and you get these, there's not these chains. You get these mom and pop type of storefronts, and it was exciting. You'd go in and you wouldn't know what would happen, or I'd go in and looking for a server, and I walked in back and saw the family. The mother and father playing with their children in the back, and I said, "Oh, can you help us?" And in the United States, would say, "How dare they? We were sitting here, and nobody helped us, and how wrong that is." But it was fun, man. It was great, and then to talk to the families and to have them make different or unique items that are not on the menu, or just the different layout, the chairs in the restaurant that are all mismatched. That's what is the treasure for me. That's what the treasure of life is. And Western culture is becoming stale and conformist and uniformity. And, a large part of that is television and, corporations taking over everything. And let's not allow that same mentality to contaminate our spirit. Let's break out of the bubble and say, man, what can I screw up today? What can I say wrong? How can I be more me? And the first step to doing that is to going within to your spirit, connecting with your spirit, and realizing nothing external, really, when you analyze it in the physical world, approval, disapproval, possessions, relationships, gives you lasting happiness. It's a temporal high. And what gives us lasting happiness is connecting with our spirit. And when we find that center, when we find that core, it's like a turning everything upside down, what we've been conditioned to believe. We've been conditioned to believe our external world, the physical world, makes or breaks us. And I'm always amazed, people in really difficult situations or have, impoverished lives. And you find this especially when you travel to third world countries, are some of the happiest. And if they could be happy without all the things that we've been, brainwashed to believe we need to be happy, why can't we be happy? Like it's a internal power source. It needs nothing external. So no matter what situation you're in, no matter who laughs at you, who ridicules you, who disapproves of you, what job you get or don't get, you're connected to a source that is beyond temporal things. And then you're free because you have nothing left to lose. Freedom is having nothing left to lose. You can just be yourself. We can relax. Oh my gosh, I can, talk to these people and interact and be honest and be real and mess up and be imperfect and say the wrong thing, and you now, all that energy that used to be wasted trying to be perfect can now be drawn inward to be authentic. Thanks for listening.